What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Zach with Zach Attack Cards. I'm bringing you another Major League Baseball Showdown video. By the time this video goes up, you will have seen the first one. These packs came from the exact same place. I basically just went back and cleaned them out because I love this game. I love to collect this game, play this game, everything. And my way of showing praise for it is basically I want to bring awareness to the game and get more people playing and maybe even have tops or well, I guess it would have to be tops / fanatics to think about maybe bringing it back or bringing back some form of it. I know it was done by Wizards of the Coast, so okay, maybe modify one or two things and call it your own, but it's just such a fun game. I wasted so much time on it, and as I said in the previous video, it was such a huge help dealing with my obsessive compulsive disorder, and just doing some simple math and rolling some dice, and even if I was just playing with myself, or if I get my wife to play, whichever, it just has always been so much fun, and I really hope something similar can come back at some point, but without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with Jason Varitek. I mean, each one of these packs I think ended up costing me like maybe 50 cents. Like they were so cheap that there was just no way I could pass them up. Tony Clark, I believe, is he still head of MLB PA? Got Cliff Floyd in there. Tim Hudson, that's a cool one. Still on the A's before he went over to Atlanta. Rodrigo Lopez, not a very good starter for my Baltimore Orioles, but this was 2003, so that would likely be his rookie year. Jesse Orosco cards, a little beat up, but hard to complain. Kip Wells, Troy Percival, definitely one of the better closers of the late 90s, early 2000s for sure. Jason Isringhausen probably fits right into that same category as Troy Percival. Kenny Rogers, Young Kim, obviously most famous for holding off the Yankees in the 2001 World Series and getting the win for the Diamondbacks. Or helping them anyway, I should say. It definitely wasn't just him. Marlon Anderson, Ray Sanchez, and finishing on Orlando Merced. So that's our only pack of 2003, so we'll put those off to the side. Now we're going to dig into just a ton of 2005. We're going to open a bunch so that we don't have to open a million little packs. And these team bags can sometimes be a nightmare to open, but let's see what we can get. 2005 was, like I said, last year for the game. As you can see, they changed things up from the 2003. They pretty much changed it up every year, though I would say from 2004 to 2005, they probably had the least amount of change to the cards. I would say if you're just looking at the front of the cards, it's very difficult to tell 2004 from 2005 without reading the number in the bottom right corner. But yeah, it was just such a great game. It's such a great game that I'm probably going to end up playing after I get all these open and once I finish up this video. But I'm hoping you guys like it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've played it, if you enjoy it, if it's something you would enjoy if they brought some form of it back. And hopefully we can get something going and have a bit of a groundswell and tops / fanatics will listen. Let's just get all these open. And we can sort through them all at the same time. But I think the other thing that Showdown brings to me is again, like I said, it's just a fun game that really helped me with my OCD and stuff. But it's also just really cool looking back on players from that era. I mean, I was very big into watching baseball back then. I kind of left it for a little bit. Definitely back into the fold now, but it's really cool. And looking back on some of these players and even having Hall of Famers like Chipper Jones it's really cool to see what these guys went on to do, because in some of these cases you got rookies and stuff here too. So let's just get rid of these team bags. And let's see what we got in the 2005. Michael Kadire, Craig Wilson, Mark Sweeney, Mike Cameron, Carlos Lee, he was a slugger for a number of years, Chad Tracy, Sean Figgins, Jay Payton. I remember him a little more with the Mets than the Brewers. Ronnie Belliard, Michael Tucker, Dimitri Young, Carl Crawford, speedster for Tampa Bay back then. Pat the Bat Burrell, Alex Sanchez, Ryan Klesko. Man, another guy with a lot of power. Tom Glavine on the Mets. Unbelievable to think he played for them after all those years in Atlanta. Brandon Webb, got Freddie Garcia on the White Sox, definitely after his time on the Mariners. John Thompson, Kyle Farnsworth, Jason Isringhausen, again, this time in the 2005. Everyday Eddie Guardado, such a cool nickname. Bobby Crosby for the A's. Got Desi Relaford. Sean Green, another guy that had a phenomenal few years. Frank Catalanato. There's Moise Salou. Rafi Palmeiro. Oh, man. I don't want to say anything about him. I did not take steroids. And then what was it, just a couple of weeks later or something like that, you tested positive. David Eckstein, part of that 2002 Angels World Series. Brad Ausmus, David Bell, Miguel Cairo, BJ Surhoff for my Orioles. There's another Rafi Palmeiro. Sean Casey, another Ausmus. Jose Cruz, guy never really panned out, but people were high on his rookies in the 90s. Rafi Palmeiro again, Placido Polanco, Lou Ford, Jay Payton, Juan Uribe. There's Tino Martinez, a guy that, obviously never liked due to the fact he was a Yankee for most of his career, probably had his most success there, but always had a lot of respect for Tino. Chad Moeller, Rocco Baldelli, Adam Everett, Greg Biggio, Hall of Famer, Bobby Crosby, Greg Zong, there's Brian Giles, another guy who had tremendous power, especially on Pittsburgh, or with the Pirates, Eric Kinski, Coco Crisp, Bobby Kilty, Aubrey Huff, Dustin Moore, BJ Surhoff again, Aaron Rowand, I think he was on the White Sox World Series team. Ausmus, there's Billy Wagner, excellent closer, probably finds his way into the Hall of Fame one day. Ray King, Paul Quantrill, Cliff Lee, Al Leiter, Scott Iyer, Danny Graves, Brooks Kieschnick, possibly. Another Al Leiter. David Risquet, I guess. Greg Maddux found himself back on the Cubs after his time with Atlanta came to a close. Brian Schaus, there's Everyday Eddie again. Keith Folk, closer for Red Sox, I think just before Papelbon. Roy Halladay, awesome. Brady Clark, Julio Lugo, Morgan Ensberg, Ramon Hernandez, D'Angelo Jimenez, Milton Bradley, always love that name, Sean Casey, Jay Payton, Sean Figgins again, Chad Tracy, Brian Roberts, played second base for the O's for a number of years, Darrell Ward, Jason Phillips, BJ Surhoff, and Reed Johnson. Not a bad first half pile. Like I said, nothing, definitely not expecting to get foils or anything out of these. I don't even think there's a chance, but again, who's going to pass them up? Well, I'm not going to pass them up for 50 cents. Esteban Yan, Chad Tracy, Braden Looper. There's Dontrell Willis, Chipper Jones, Scott Spezio. Again, another member of that 2002 Angels team. Reggie Taylor, Cesar Izturis, Jeff Blum, Joe McEwing, Craig Counsell. Is he now is he the Brewers manager? He's managing somebody. Pokey Reese, Sean Chacon, Ron Villone, Bobby Crosby. There's another Chipper. Kyle Farnsworth, Scott Linebrink, Mark Burley, Jason Isringhausen, Scott Linebrink, Ricardo Rincon, Jose Mesa, Josh Beckett, Troy Percival, Tim Spooneybarger, rough reliever, very nice. Mike Koplov. Paul Wilson. Jorge Julio, closer for my O's for, I think, only a handful of years. Really wasn't too successful. Wilson Alvarez. Sean Figgins again. Corey Koski. Aesop Choi. This is a big time card. So you might see this card and look at it and go, hey, it's not much, it's just some guy that you probably have never heard of. But he's got 11 on base, which is insane for the game. I mean, like I said, I think they only went up to about 13 or so during this year. But he only costs 120 points. See that next to just under his name? So it's insane to get an 11 on base for just 120 points. So he's a known, I don't want to call him a cheat, but somebody that a lot of people put into their decks because he was just a hit machine for very low cost. Richard Hidalgo on the Mets. Jose Castillo. Tyke Redmond. Gabe Kapler. Jeff Jenkins. There's Darren Erstad. Orlando Hudson. AJ Pierzynski. Royce Clayton. Rob Makoviak. Jose Reyes. That must be one of his earlier seasons for sure. Brian Roberts. Marco Scudero. There's Randy Wynn. Desi Relaford, Aaron Rowan again, Biggio, Kadir, Scott Podsednik, Luis Castillo. Lost considerable basically expectation and praise probably by this time in his career, but when he first started with Florida, he was very attractive in the hobby. A lot of people were after his rookies and thought he was going to be a big deal. And shame on me for talking down about any major leaguer, to be honest, or anybody who's never done it. I mean, this guy made it to the major leagues, but just never quite became Hall of Fame caliber, Marcus Giles, very nice. He had a foil in the 2002 game. Jeff Conine, D'Angelo Jimenez, Sean Green, Richard Hidalgo, there's Victor Martinez. Luis Gonzalez, another huge part to that 2001 World Series. I believe he was the game-winning hit right over Jeter's head. Torrey Hunter, Toby Hall, Jose Cruz, Casey Blake, Randy Wynn, Mike Sweeney, Raul Ibanez, Juan Castro, Frank Catalanato, Andrew Jones, awesome. I think he finds his way into the Hall of Fame at some point. Marco Baldelli, Willie Mo Pena, Edgar Renteria, and finishing on Chad Moeller. So that was a lot of fun. Nice little trip down memory lane and just a number of Showdown cards. So as I said, if you like what you've seen, do me a favor, comment down below. Let me know what your favorite pickup was, or maybe favorite memory of the game if you've played it before, or even if you would play it if it came back. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, drop a like if you've liked what you've seen. And definitely subscribe if you'd like to see more. As for me, I've been Zach Attack Cards, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.